Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hitting that play button. Welcome to Learning from Men podcast, where I am on a mission to learn from men so I can better serve men. And today I am learning from Todd Vinson, and I am so thankful that Todd has said yes to letting me learn from his life experiences again so I can better serve men. Todd, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hey, Heady, good. It's good to be on here, and thank you for the invite.
Yeah, man. You were one of the ones when I started thinking about this. I had this crazy goal. You're like this. You're a go-getter. You come up with this crazy goal. I decided like at the end of November, I was like, man, you know what? I want to learn from 100 men by the beginning of the year. And like, that's 40 days of me trying to connect with 100 men. And I'm a pastor of a church, and it's Christmas season, holiday seasons. And so I kind of backed off of the idea of making this happen by January. But at the same time, I knew that it's something on my heart to be
Mhm.
able to just have conversations with men so I can learn from them. I have a great opportunity to lead an organization called Men of Jesus. And I just want to make sure that I can do as much as I can to be prepared and equipped to just build with real things that real men experience. And so your name was one of the ones that came to my heart. I started typing down names, and your name was one of the names that came to me at the beginning. And so thank you so much for
Oh,
joining me.
honored to get to share.
One of the questions that I had down was, what is one thing you wish someone had told you about being a man when you were younger?
Yeah, I was thinking about that before we got on here, and just looking back, I think that I wish I would have had more questions with older men about identity. We live in a culture, and I was raised in a culture, even in the 70s and 80s and 90s. I think in the heartland here, we right or wrong, so much of our identity is based on what we do. Where we come from, what we've accomplished, and really our identity is based on who we are, and not where my salary comes from or how well my investments are, if I have any investments. But really, it's who God says I am. So this last year, my kids got me a birthday gift for Ancestry.com. We did a little swab and looked up, and they do a DNA test, and you get to track, where your family heritage originated from, and then started doing some searching, and have gotten as far back on my father's side of the family to about 1750, um, um, and the Revolutionary War. But as I was doing all that, I just started thinking about my name and what it means. So I hop on chat and start doing a little research. And my name's James Todd Vinson. So James means the one who follows or pursues. Todd means wise, clever, or discerning. And then Vinson means to conquer or to prevail. And I wish that when I was younger that uh, from family to men that I looked up to, that I would have had more identity conversations. Because there's a lot of times in my life I haven't lived up to my namesake and what my name really means. I was living out of my best efforts and fears and insecurities. So I would say probably that's the big thing that would have set me up for the starting line of adulthood if I would have had a better understanding of that.
That's really good. I'm thinking about the Bible, how and so I guess my thought was when you said that in the Bible, it's always talking about what that person's name was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering at that time, because the Bible's written later talking about these different things, and it helps us better understand why a person is going their journey when I'm reading the Bible. Um, but I wonder if at that time, if Moses and these different people, when they were being raised and brought up, their names were explained to them. Because
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about that, I named my son Zell because his name means sea strength.
Hmm.
And I wanted, it had a great meaning, being strong and things like that. But I don't know if I've ever really um given that to Zell. Like, Zell,
Yeah.
I named you this because I wanted to see you be this person. Or if
Yeah.
I really
Speaking
approached
that
him.
into them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which I did it too based on, of course, wanting him to understand who he was in Christ.
Right,
And in Christ, man, we're way more capable than what we ever imagined,
right.
because of our, our humanness makes us feel weak in things, but man, we're capable of doing a lot of things. So,
Yeah, so I think identity conversations, speaking in, not just, we get a name, but am I speaking into that? Am I calling that out in my kids or other people around me? Um, if I'm intentional, then yes. But if I'm just, my hair's on fire and I'm just going through life, I'm not living with intention. And that's a missed
yeah.
opportunity for me and that person I get to have the opportunity to speak into.
Yeah, I wonder if we did research, like, when did that really become the thing of like, because I just recently wrote a little short social media post about understanding that we're not what we do, but we are who God says we are, and then that's what we live out of.
Right.
And but that's something again like came later in life. But I wonder when that really became a thing. Because now I try to hold myself from asking people what do they do
Yeah. Yeah.
as
Who
far
are
as
you?
work goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try not to even ask that, but it's such a natural thing to ask.
It
What do you
does.
do?
Yeah. Yeah. And our intent is good, but man, there's a lot deeper questions we can ask people
Right.
than what our profession is.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot more to you. There's a lot more to me than what our profession is.
Right. Right. Who were some men that did add value to you growing up, and what are some things that you learned from them? Any habits or
Yeah,
responsibilities?
I think the first two that came to mind, I was thinking about college days at OU. I started here in 1985. Got plugged into a church. Guy named Jim Lang. Um, he and his wife Bonnie, they had a thing at the church where they did adopt a college student, and so um, my folks were living overseas, and so this family. I think the thing that they did that was the most impactful for me was I got to come over there on Sundays for a Sunday meal, do my laundry at their house, and fall asleep on their couch. And so that was the basic human needs for a college student. Those check the boxes, but I think um, watching Jim and his interaction with his wife, and it was a little foreshadowing. They've got four daughters. I actually have four daughters now, so it was amazing, unbeknownst to me at the time, just to see them navigate as a family and see a father that doted over his wife and so engaged with his daughters. That was one person. The other one is a guy named Pete Johnson, who was the area director for Young Life here in Norman. Later went on Young Life staff and got to work under him. But he was the same thing. It was more by what he did than maybe actually the words that he spoke. But I think just being really in tune, engaged with people. When he was having a conversation with you, he was locked in, and you were the most important person in the room. So I think those were two guys that modeled it really well. That never was really, a sit down mentoring formal relationship. It was more just getting to observe them while we did life together.
Do you think mentorship comes more in that form than people being intentional about asking for someone to be their mentor?
Yeah,
Like
I,
when you
I,
look
I
back
think
on it, do you?
people are always watching, but man, I think um, there's so much opportunity for more when we actually reach out and say, "Hey, I really," um, one, it's encouraging to that person, but see, I value how you live. I mean, would it be possible for us to get some time together, even if it's just once a month over a cup of coffee? If the guy's smart, he'll invite you into his home, and you'll have coffee on his back porch, and you'll get to have a little more authentic, uninterrupted time. But we all need that. I think a lot of times we're scared to ask for it, and men that are in that season of life that they can give it, I think a lot of them feel inadequate and not up to the call. But man, what they've got going for them is they've got 1, 2, or 3 decades of life experience to share that other person does not have, and that's important. Whether you're a guy or a lady, I mean, we need other people to have as role models and examples.
That's good. Um, the inviting them to your house versus going to the coffee shop, is that just because the distractions are less, so you can really dial in and focus? Is that the thought there?
I think so. I mean, I get to a coffee shop and I'm a social butterfly, so I get, it may be more for me than them, but I get a lot more distracted. And so, not that I can't get distracted on my back porch, but at least I've minimized it some. So, and I've got
Yeah.
a, I hate to brag, but I got a pretty sweet pour over set up, and in my own mind, I got the best coffee in town. So why not come over here and we'll, sit by the fire and have those conversations, and I'll get to show off some of my mad coffee skills. But um,
Yeah.
I think as a college student, it meant so much more to be in someone's home. I mean, a home cooked meal, seeing how people live life. There's something to that you don't get. I mean, I love coffee shops. I hit coffee shops all over the world, but it doesn't hit quite the same as it when you're kicking your shoes off and you're sitting on someone's couch and you're just being real and authentic.
For sure. Yeah, I recently started, like, if somebody wants to meet with me, I'm trying to get to a quieter place because, like you, I'm a social
Mm-hmm.
butterfly, or we're in a smaller community. So everybody, there's that sense of everybody knows each other. And in the
Yeah.
coffee shop, it can really feel that way because you're trying to see everybody, you're talking to everybody, and not being able to focus in. And so, yeah, that was interesting that you said that because I've found myself more and more not going to a coffee shop to meet with people that we're
Otherwise, you and
really
I are the greeter
get
for everyone
somewhere.
else coming in, and it's great for the folks that
That's
own the
right.
shop, but turn us loose. But it's not quite so great for the other person across from us that wanted to get some uninterrupted time together.
Right, right, right. When was your moment of like understanding or feeling like you become a man?
Um, that was a little harder to pinpoint, but I think that it kind of started when I was on Young Life staff here, and a guy named Scott and his wife Ann Manley, who were instrumental in Young Life in the Oklahoma City area, did a premarital Bible study for a couple of guys. There was a handful of us that were about to get married, and so uh, just seeing people that were real, just really honest, not sugarcoating things, and not just doing all the warm fuzzy stuff, but just talking about the hard parts about life and relationship and how you navigate those. That was, I think that was a point going, oh yeah, okay, I'm not a little kid anymore. I gotta put on my big boy pants and start having a different mindset. It's not just about me.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
so
that's
grateful
and
for
that's a
having
part
a
of
couple
it.
like that would, you know, just be real and share their wins and also share their not top 10 highlights
Yeah.
and how God even used that for, in their marriage and their relationship.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's about that responsibility, understanding like, oh, now I got real responsibilities and
Yeah.
I gotta handle business. Um, do you have any intentional lessons that you teach young men or that you taught your daughters, being a girl dad? What were some things
Hmm.
that you teach or do teach, still teach today?
Shotgun, shovel, and 40 acres out back. um, that was the official line, but really, I think just from my life experience, just the importance of being present and being intentional with my wife and my family, making your relationship with God a priority. Because when we put God first and the other things, it's not just a cliche. When we put God first as a priority, all those other things seem to fall into place um, when we get them in the right order. So it's easy to mention those three or four things on a list. It takes a lot more intentionality to live that out, not be distracted, learn how to manage your time. But I think the biggest one is just being present, and my kids and my wife also realizing that next to my relationship with God, they're the most important thing to me. I've walked away from some opportunities and roles that I have because it had gotten to the point that it wasn't healthy for me. I was given out of an empty well, and it was affecting my own mental, emotional, uh, physical, spiritual life. And it's one thing to say that; it's another to make some wholesale changes and live in a different place, live different, do some different things because your relationship with your family is a priority.
Mm, yeah, that's good. Um, yeah, it's crazy how it flows out of that. Like the more I've been intentional in God's word and understanding who I am, like all these other things just
Mhm.
have a way of flowing out of that, which is really, yeah, so good.
I
Uh,
think learning the disciplines as when you're younger, it feels like it's legalistic and it's a have to and a checklist. But
mm,
as you get on in life, you realize that this is what sustains me. It's my lifeline and my oxygen. It's not something that I have to do. It's something that I get to do, and it's the fuel that makes everything else happen in my life.
yeah.
So it becomes
What are some of
the
those key
engine, not
disciplines
the
for you?
caboose. I'm sorry.
What are some of those key disciplines for you?
Um, Man, getting in the Word, um, praying, being still. I tell people all the time that being still and quiet are not my best attributes. And so, for me, get up in the morning with a cup of coffee and sit in my chair and just be still and quiet, not check my email, not check the news, not check a certain feed or see if someone's read an article that I've written or um, any of that stuff that ends up hijacking my day and I get on into work mode. And so if I can start out my day 20 minutes sipping on a cup of coffee and just be still and quiet, enjoy God's presence and just listen. Sometimes all he wants me to do is just be still and quiet. And it's the practicing the presence of God, and me practicing being still and quiet is exhausting for me. It
Mm,
takes so much work and mental energy for me to be still and quiet. But the clarity, the peace, the wisdom and discernment I get from God when I do that it's amazing. So why
yeah.
would I rob myself of that opportunity? But I think we do it unintentionally just by being overstimulated and distracted through so much of our day.
Yeah, that also does that fall back into it's it's more challenging to sit still and be quiet when I think the thing that I do is what makes me who I am,
Hmm. Yeah,
versus that I'm gonna be still and quiet and understand that um and knowing who God is in my life and how he's the one that moves me forward. If you don't grasp that, it's probably a lot harder, you know,
yeah. Because we think
potentially for a
we got
man
stuff we got to
to
get done, and we're
yeah.
a free agent for God. It's like no. I join him in the things that he's doing and come alongside him. I don't have to go generate a strategy and a plan and a budget and go do those things and then ask him to sign off on it like a venture capitalist.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Why is it hard for men to maintain relationships?
Uh, I think
Or
it's
is
easy
that
for
not
us to
true?
be.
Do you think that's true? Is that a true or false?
Yeah,
I guess is that true or false for you?
I would say it's true, and I think because we can do one thing at a time really well, um, and it's easy to get isolated. It's also hard for us to be authentic and vulnerable and ask for help or let people know that hey, I'm struggling in this area. Um, Maybe from past experience, it didn't feel safe to share that. It may be a sign of weakness. When in reality is that when we get in community and we have some healthy accountability and we do that consistently, man, that makes the mountains of our minds seem not quite so big and undaunting and impossible to achieve because there's other people around us, especially if we have a mix of age groups that you've got a mix of experience that, you know what, you're not the only person that's going through this or having the struggle, but when you're isolated, you sure feel like this is the first time it's ever happened and you're the only one that is struggling with that issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that isolation's real, and it feels more comfortable than digging in, huh?
Yeah.
Like with
Well,
other
especially
men.
with COVID and this last season we've been in where we were in a shutdown mode, it made it a lot easier just to text and not meet face to face. And man, when you live in isolation, here's a news flash: it's isolating. So we were built for relationships, and we need community.
Yeah.
I love getting on a call like this with you because we're on opposite sides of Oklahoma City, but it's not near as good as the real thing, meeting
Right.
face to face.
Right. Yeah. And digging in that way. In your coaching, because you're a coach, and I also want to say that I always tell people, if you want to be a great at something, you need to have a coach. So if you want to be a great
Yeah,
leader, you need a coach. Because all of our greatest athletes and all the people that we admire
yeah,
around sports and things of that nature all have a coach. And when I meet leaders who s- um, I find to be successful, they have somebody in their life. They may not be paying a coach specifically, but they have a mentor or somebody in their life.
yeah.
Is this one of the things that you've had to coach men on? Like, have you had that opportunity to kind of be like, man, you need to be connected to more men? What does that look like? Have you had any of those kind of conversations with some of the men
I
you coached?
I have, and a lot of them have been from a standpoint, an example of what not to do. Hey, this is this is the way I did it. There is a better way. I think for a lot of us, uh, getting a coach feels like an expense, but really, it's an investment. I spent years in coffee, and then founding a nonprofit and running a boys ranch. That, man, everything felt like an expense. But really, having someone coach you through some things is an investment. And looking back, if I would have done that proactively, I would have spent a fraction of what I spent in rescue and recovery and healing effort. I spent probably 5 times that amount just to get back to whole. You think about when your house has a flood or a fire, all the remediation work that they do to restore your home. Man, it's exponentially more than checking the battery in the smoke alarm, or not leaving the dish towel on the stove, or making sure that you blew out the candle. And so I think investing in yourself and knowing that you've got a return on investment, especially if you are in your 20s and 30s, your runway is so much longer than mine is at 58, that it will serve you, and it'll see where your strengths and where your expertise are, and where you need to collaborate or find someone else that you outsource things in your career that aren't your strong suit, that will save the wear and tear and the stress and the anxiety and the other pressure it puts on you if you try to be the Lone Ranger and do it all by yourself.
Yeah. 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 That's good. My,
I'm really only
Derek.
58. I look like I'm 88, but really I'm just 58. So had I done those things myself early on, it would have paid a lot more dividends.
Yeah. You know Taylor Doe, Derek Sire?
I do not. Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
know Derek. Yes, yeah, I know Derek.
Yeah. Uh, have you heard of, oh my God, then moments? Have you heard the talk and then? Okay.
No.
Taylor Doe's the one who does his talk about and
Okay,
then,
tell me about it.
because he talks about whenever, this is not the original thing I was going to say, but he talks about, I love this talk that he does. And it kind of goes back to this relationship things, but he says that he began to do research on trying to figure out how people achieved the things that they achieved, or how they ended up getting the jobs that they got, or whatever,
Yeah.
got into college and all this. And he said, and he realized whenever he was having these conversations with people, there was always a and then moment.
Mm,
And it always pointed back to somebody helping them. Like
Yeah.
they'll tell you all about their success, but then there's this, and then my uncle John gave me XYZ, and you find that there's a person attached to that, and so he gives out these keys because he's saying that you have the key to help somebody move forward in
Oh, that's
whatever
good.
whatever the thing is that they are trying to move forward in. Um, he was saying that, but what I was thinking about is this whole thing about maintaining relationships. Derek and Derek and Taylor, and it's not out there just yet. I don't even think they've shared the website. I got a early peek, but they're doing this website and it's about friend goals. So it's friend goal,
Okay.
and it has, and they talk about you and I get together for coffee, and we'd be like, man, we need to do this more often. And then we don't see each other for another 6 years. Then we're like, oh, we need to do this more often.
Hmm.
So they designed this website to be intentional about, all right, I'm gonna have a goal to meet with you for four times in 2026 or however. They got one that's up to 100 times that you're gonna try to connect with a person. But I was just thinking about how the intentionality of that, especially for men, to really
Yeah.
be we need to make sure that we get this on our calendar. The goal is for us to meet the next four times over every quarter in 2026, where we just don't do that. But I think some of it is just because we don't create that margin in our calendars for things that
Right.
this kind of stuff that's valuable to us.
Absolutely. I was trying to get a retreat scheduled to do some of that, and uh, no judgment to anyone. Everyone's calendars are so full. It was hard to.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted to go ahead and get 4 on the calendar for 2026, but people looked at me cross-eyed. I have no idea about those dates. I could tell you yes, but then I don't know that I could do it. And so, for us to create some space that there are margins. It may not be all weekend long. It might be going to a Thunder game or, to a football game, or, hey, you know what? Let's go and grab some barbecue or grab a cup of coffee together. But just making connection and relationships a priority. It's kind of like me coming back from a walk. I've never felt bad when I go on a walk. And when I come back from a night to being around guys that make me better, and I spend that time together, it's like, oh, wow, that just,
Yeah.
that fills up my soul.
It's like, I need more of this. I need
Yeah.
more of this in my life.
Need more of this
And
in my
I think
life.
it's too, I remember one time I was talking to my brother-in-law, and every time I asked him to do something, it was that thing. He's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing on that day. I'm like, yeah, that's the reason I'm asking you now so you
That's
can
why I'm
put it on your
asking you now.
calendar. So you can say no to whatever else comes up.
Say no to them, not to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the reason I'm talking to you early. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny to me. Um, what consistent habits contribute to your growth as a man? What are some things? And I feel like you've already kind of said some of these things, what I feel like you're gonna say, but is there
Yeah.
anything more around that helps you grow as a man?
I think the consistency, it's easy for us to all set goals right now. But what about February, March, April, May? Are we still doing those things?
Mhm.
I'm a lot more apt to have some consistency if I've got some accountability and healthy accountability. Um, so I would say consistency and healthy boundaries and good margins.
Yeah. When you say, did you say the right kind of accountability? What kind of
Yeah, healthy
accountability?
accountability, not
Healthy
folks that are
accountability.
just calling you out, but they're also calling you up. So they see
Mm,
the potential in you. They're not wowed by your resume and all your accomplishments, but they're also not scared of the places that you have stumbled or fallen or made some bad choices. They are really truly um, invested in you and care about you living up to your potential.
that's good. What I think this next question probably comes out of because we don't have healthy accountability
Yeah,
sometimes. But this next question
yeah,
is about just what challenges season shaped you, and what did you learn?
yeah.
I know you about to
Uh,
have a whole book on this, but
I,
what are
I,
some
I
few
literally
things?
am just finishing up writing a book on that, and it's taken me a decade to write about 30 years of not doing things I've got a buddy named Jerome that he goes, yeah, that was suboptimal. There's a lot of things in my life for about 30 years that the way I operated was suboptimal. They weren't all bad, but they weren't up to the potential that I could. And so I'm writing a book that's a little bit of my story. It's a lot of the men that encircled me that helped me through that, some tools that I learned from guys like Jeremy Kubicek and Giant and Kim Kimberling, Dr. Kim Kimberling, who's here in Oklahoma City, but it's really a field guide of the tools that I acquired and people that surrounded me to experience wholeness and live out of my true identity, the way God wired me and created me to be, not just bootstrapping it. I could also write a book on bootstrapping it, but the results are suboptimal. I ended up in the floor thinking I was dying of a heart attack, and it was really just me working harder and just physically, emotionally, spiritually exhausted. So I think for me, that happened that day. For me, was April 6th, 2016. And so I've been on a journey almost a decade now of having different patterns, living out of my identity, who God says I am, not what my vocation is or how successful or unsuccessful I am in my career. So, darkest night of the soul for me, but it was the best, worst thing that ever happened to me, because it got me to the end of myself and realizing that for a lot of my years, I was giving God a lot of lip service. But it was really God. It was really Todd who was in charge, not God. Um, God does not have a Todd complex, but I had a God complex for many years. My mindset was that it was all up to me,
Yeah.
and so that was my reality, because that's we're talking about identity. Those were the things that I spoke into. All the pressure and stress that comes along with that I created by that being in my mindset. That's how I live my life until I finally realized that, man, it isn't all up to you. Not all about you, and you weren't created to live in a vacuum, even though I had found myself there really doing some really good things. Um, People would brag on me. Oh man, I can't believe that you're doing that. And I'm going, yeah, look at me. As, as I'm inside, just dying on the inside, from exhaustion. And then I bathe that anxiety with about 12 cups of coffee a day. Holy Spirit was not the one controlling my life. It was anxiety and caffeine and a Lone Ranger mentality.
I wrote down doing cool things doesn't mean it's healthy.
Yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean
Oh,
that you should.
yeah. Yeah.
A little girl
Yeah.
in the diner in Chandler at Boomerang called me out one day. My wife and I were going to lunch, and she goes, "What do you want?" I said, "Oh, I want the chicken fried steak." She goes, "You want the sandwich or the lunch?" I said, "Oh, I can eat the dinner or the sandwich." She goes, "Oh, I can eat the dinner." And she goes, "Honey, just because you can doesn't mean that you should." So we call that at our house the chicken fried steak principle.
Oh, that's good.
And she
That's
shamed me
good.
so hard that it's even hard for me to go to Del Rancho now without feeling guilty. I can't even order the steak sandwich supreme anymore. Just give me the salad.
Oh man, the steak sandwich supreme, so delicious. I haven't had one of those in
Oh,
years. They're
see, we're going to
so
both have to
good.
go grab one now for lunch.
I
But
know, man. Where's the
just because
Del
you
Rancho
can
at?
doesn't mean that you should. What's that?
I don't even know. Do they still have Del Ranchos around?
Hey, there is one on Lindsay Street, just not a mile from me. And I drive by it every
Wow.
day and just keep on driving.
That's
Maybe once or
good.
twice a year I'll get chicken fry, but because I still see that 20 something's face calling me out. My
Uh,
wife just looks at me and goes, "Been saying that forever. Maybe now you'll listen."
now you listen. Yeah. I'm still learning that. I'm still
Yeah,
learning that.
yeah. The truth there is, just because it's good doesn't mean that it's the best thing for you.
Right. Right.
Whether that's good
Uh,
works or a good chicken fry. Sometimes God has got something where he wants us to trade up for something better.
Now it's easy to know the Del Rancho, like the chicken fried steak.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's hard to not to know if this is God or not, especially when it does look like, oh, people could benefit from me
Hmm.
doing this. Like this is something that could
Yeah.
really come and make a great impact. How do you not? How do you know?
I think with some gray hair and some road wear, okay, at the expense of what? If we do that, um, there's a limited amount of time and resources for all of us. If I do that, what am I saying no to? Financially, what am I saying no to? Relationally, what am I saying no to? The pressure, the financial stress. What am I saying no to if I say to this, yes, this thing over here? So I think writing those things down and being honest with yourself, asking, your inner circle and your spouse what they think about that, and then asking God that, and pausing and listening and waiting for a response. So some
Yeah,
things don't necessarily need an immediate answer.
yeah,
I'm really good at fire, ready, aim. And
yeah.
sometimes it's,
That's
you know what? Think about that. You're a visionary. Think about it, write it down, chew on it, get some wise counsel from other people, pray about it, give some time, and then watch God open or close doors and not feel like you got to strong arm your way through every great idea that you have.
right. That's good. Yeah, if it's a rush to make a response, maybe it's not the one.
Hmm.
Hey, I need to have an answer by, and like this is a
Yeah.
decision that may need to take 30 days, right?
Yeah.
And so I
If
guess
you
you
need
can
that
give
decision from
yourself
me
some,
right now, then I may not be the guy
yeah,
for that role because um, I can't give you an answer. I can't tell you yes or no today
because the
with my
Bible
set of
talks about counting the
circumstances.
cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I need to count that cost. What do you want to be remembered by? What is the thing that you want to be remembered for, not by, for?
um, I would say my passion for God, um, relationship with my family and other people that I care about, and that I was willing to share that with other people, introduce them to the transformative work of Jesus Christ and the cross. They're not going to
Yeah,
probably ask about my my resume or awards or accolades or how much money I made or this or that. How many pins I've got on a map where I've gotten to travel all over the world. It's like, you know what? Um, I, I felt loved and cared for and valued, and I saw Jesus in the way that he lived.
yeah. That's good. That's worth being known for, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and to be around
That
other guys that bring that out in you, that fan that flame. The iron sharpens iron, and I think we've got that here in Oklahoma City. The whole Oklahoma. When I say Oklahoma City, I mean the whole metro, from Guthrie to Norman, from Shawnee to Mustang. Um, there's some amazing things happening here in Oklahoma, and I want to be able to encourage and pour into guys that are younger than us. Um, Let my ceiling be their floor.
mm, yeah, yeah, that's good. I think in order to live by that Matthew 16:24, deny yourself and carry your cross,
Yeah,
and follow him. And
yeah,
I think if hold on to that, those kind of things, I think you said it earlier, understand who you are in Christ and the other things that come out of that.
yeah,
So just trust in him. So
absolutely.
Todd, thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to call you my brother and for us to pick right up where we left off every time we see each other. And
Yes.
so, thanks for the invitation here.
Yeah, thank you so much. any last words? Anything you want to put out there? Any coaching tips or how to find you or all the things?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me at overlanderconsulting.com. And there's a place that we can hop on a call and connect. But I think the biggest thing I want to share with guys is just lean into your identity, not who you think you are, but who God says that you are. And man, that changes everything when you start living that way and start believing it.
That's great. That's great. Hey, thank you so much for hitting that play button for another episode of Learning from Men, where I'm on a mission to learn from men so I can better serve men. Go in.